Okay, good morning. We are coming off of a actual rain event a couple days ago. So I thought I'd do a quick documentary video here just to keep track of everything. So this tree here is a tropical pink guava. A few years in the ground, does get fruit, and just coming out of winter it actually looks really nice. Didn't even get many of the dark red leaves it typically does when the cold hits it. This is a weeping Santa Rosa plum tree. It's about 4 years old, hasn't fruited very much, but it's putting on a lot more flowers this year for the first time, so maybe it's just starting to get established. All the dark you're seeing down here is a bunch of compost I spread out 2 days ago, and there's going to be wood chips going on top of it, but I haven't had time to do that yet. This is a Mexican guava. It was supposed to be a coconut cream, but I think it's a pink one. We'll find out when we get fruit. This is a Campbell white sapote. Went through summer of 24 okay with a little bit of shade cloth, and winter no problem. And has actually put on a fair amount of growth, so it's good to see. Mineola Tangelo, which really has struggled for a couple of years, but it got a talking to about producing or getting removed last spring, and it actually produced some fruit finally, and it's looking much healthier this year. It's getting a lot of flowers, and I think maybe it actually had a little bit of a fungus or something on it, because I treated it with copper a number of times and some neem oil, and something seemed to have helped. This is a tropic sweet apple tree, a few years old. I think maybe it's going on its third summer now, and it has never grown very much. It's not a very happy little tree. Maybe my fault, maybe just the tree. Didn't lose its leaves over the winter. It did fruit a lot last summer, but they were very hard and they never softened up. They were barely edible, although they were very sweet, so maybe in time that'll improve. A little bit of lemongrass. This is a Tom Cord hybrid seedless grape. Last summer of 24 was its first year. It did very well. I'm trying to prune it a little better than my other grapes from the beginning, and we'll see how it does. Here we have an Anna apple tree. It's probably about 4 years old now. Does fairly well over the summer. Does fruit quite a lot. The apples are not to die for, but they're pretty good. We have to pick them a little bit early because it gets so hot here in the Phoenix area. So they end up being a little bit tart and slightly underripe up to this point. Maybe that'll improve with age as well. I did graft a few branches from the little tropic sweet on there, just in case I remove that tree. And they seem to have taken, which is good to see because I'm not very good at grafting based on past records. This little area here too, I mentioned with the new compost, was 1,000 square foot, give or take, of grass that I just removed in order to cut down on water and also just concentrate on the trees. And I figure with less grass and more wood chips, it'll be healthier for the little orchard there. So red flame grape vine was transplanted a few years back from another location. It's never done fantastic. It does produce some fruit, but last year it got some powdery mildew, I think, on it and kind of ruined the bunches, unfortunately. Cadota fig, cut it back, pretty extensively this last summer. It produces a lot of fruit. I actually like them better as jam than I do fresh, just because they're almost too sweet for my taste, my palate. This is an experimental seedling avocado that's going to hide here on the east side of this fig tree, and we'll just see what happens. No rush on that guy. A Panache tiger fig was about a 4-inch cutting when I got it a few years back, and was in a pot for a while and then got transplanted into here in spring of 24, and it grew a few fruit last summer, and it has some more starting now. They were good, but they were very small, so hopefully they'll improve with size and taste as time goes by, which seems to be the case for most fruit. Wonderful pomegranate. There's 2 of those, and I'm trying to grow them a little bit more as trees, so I'm not letting them get too wide. Hopefully get some verticality to them, and then allow them to fill in up high in the next few years. Thompson seedless grapevine, not really awake at all yet. Australian bottle tree, so no fruit. It does struggle a bit in the summer, so maybe at some point it'll go away. I'm doing a little experiment with some purple orchid trees down here that I'm growing from seed, and if they do okay, then maybe at some point there'll be a replacement for it. Dwarf Namwa banana tree, got from a Facebook friend. Made it through winter okay. Hopefully maybe this year we'll get some fruit and some pups we can plant elsewhere as well. This is a black Pakistan mulberry that was air layered from a tree in the front yard. It had not gotten any fruit for the first 3 years, but this year there are some forming up there, so that's kind of exciting to see. And this is largely a shade tree, at least that's the intention for this back part of the yard, because that's facing east, and then the summer sun goes basically in the direction of those 2 palm trees over there. There's 3 maybe, and this part of the yard really gets blasted late afternoon. It's extremely hot, so this will help protect some of the other things, like little avocado seedling down here that'll probably be grafted onto. It's hard to see over there, but there is a little Kahala longan seedling. Well, actually it's just a longan seedling. I don't know what the type is. Just an experiment for fun. Coconut cream mango. It's been in the ground for I think about a year now, maybe a year and a half. Fruits extensively, but refuses to grow very much. So I'm hoping now, I'm trying to improve the soil around it and more mulch and compost and all that, and we're gonna have to strip the fruit off that again this year. This is a Kent seedling that's been in the ground for 2 or 3 years now, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 22. So it's going on its 3rd summer. And no protection in the winter or summer, but it does get a fair amount of shade in the summer from this Arizona ash tree. And then the sun comes through that in the winter, being deciduous, so it was kind of intentionally placed here, and it's doing fantastic. We'll see what we get out of it in the long run. On a Taufo mango seedling. So again, kind of just an experiment, but made it through winter okay. We had a very mild winter though, so it's not an amazing feat. So white sapote seedlings, some artichoke seedlings. And this is a Kahala longan. And it just started pushing a lot of growth in the last week, I would say. And it made it through winter fine. A couple more little ash tree seedlings. We got another little fig, a seedling loquat, so no idea what type this one is, but it's doing very well. These are supposed to be goji berries. They were given to me, has never produced any fruit, unfortunately, in the last, well, I guess it's been in only about a year or 2, but we'll see if this year it does. This was a volunteer seedling peach tree that was just growing right next to my pear tree, and it looked really good, so I dug it up and stuck it in the pot, and we'll just see what comes of it. This is a Jumbo persimmon. This was its first winter, so it hasn't woken up yet. These are kind of new. I was never a big persimmon fan until just recently, so there's a Giro in the front yard as well that made it through last summer and looks really good. Namdok Mai mango. Of the grafted ones, this one by far looks the best. I think it's just got a sweet little microclimate here where it's protected in the afternoon in the summer to the west, and then also above it gets filtered light from this desert fern tree, I think it's called. Kind of a messy thing, but in the summer it fills in and it definitely helps. A little Brewster lychee, and struggled a little bit last summer. We had a very, very hot summer, but it's pushing new growth right now, so maybe we'll be in the clear. Yehuda loquat. This is about maybe its third summer coming up. It did not fruit last year or this year apparently, but it is looking really good. It's got very big leaves on it and they look fantastic, so I think it's okay. We'll just be patient with it. Blue Java banana always look a little funky coming out of winter, but it held one bunch over the winter, and I think we'll get some bananas a little earlier this year, which would be great. This guy here is a strawberry papaya. There were 3 of them. One I killed by overwatering, and the second one by cold. And this little guy had mites last year, but I think I actually was able to treat them and they're looking good, and it's fruiting, so I'm happy about that. This is a green sapote seedling that I ordered online from Lara Farms, and it made it through last summer. Didn't grow much last summer, but it is pushing multiple stems now and seems very happy, so again, it's good to see. Yeah, just some random little seedlings we're trying to grow for fun of it. Barbados cherry. Fruit's a fair amount. I don't know. It's not my favorite fruit, but it does great in the summer. Provides a little bit of shade for stuff around it. This is actually my oldest mango. This is a Southern Blush. I probably wouldn't have bought this, but I bought it like 5 years ago or something before I knew anything about mangoes, and it was my first kind of tropical-ish tree. It has fruited a little, but it's always dropped them, and I transplanted it a year ago, spring of 24, to this spot, which hopefully will get a little more winter and summer protection, and it's starting to push some growth, so I think it'll be okay. Hopefully it'll start picking up and grow up into the sunlight more. Patio's always a mess. Welcome to garden life. This is probably the tree I'm kind of the happiest about in a sense. It's a Fuerte avocado tree, and it has really taken off. It didn't really do much for the first couple of years, almost nothing in fact. It had a central leader that was down here, hidden way down there, and it was floppy and never did anything. So finally I just cut it off, and then a few months later it just started shooting up these side shoots, and now they are pretty tall. It's probably going on 8 feet tall. Kind of a wide sprawling thing, but it's pretty happy. And here in Phoenix there are not a lot of these guys that do well, and it's definitely a challenge, but pretty new growth comes out every spring, and it is pushing its first flowers, which is exciting to see. I don't know if it'll hold any fruit this year, but it's great to see that it's advancing in its life cycle. And then I guess the last one on this side here will be a Waddell giant pear tree, and it is to the west side of that avocado on purpose, and that is partially to help shade it in the summer. It's just starting to bud out. It has really pretty leaves in the fall too. It actually gets a nice fall color, and some summer sun doesn't seem to bother it much. It looks like it's going to flower here pretty soon actually, and it grows very, very vertically. So I tried to spread some of the branches last year. I'm going to have to do that again this spring and see if I can, I don't know, spread it out a little bit. So avocado tree. Let's see, well, yeah, I guess maybe just end over here, just on the spicy nectar plum. This is my second shot at this tree. I had one in another place, and it got root rot, I think, one summer when we had a lot of monsoons and I was out of town and didn't watch the watering and got overwatered. But at any rate, beautiful tree. All the fresh leaves push out this beautiful, almost like plum color, and really pretty flowers. Didn't get much fruit yet. I believe this is going to be its third summer. Yeah, this will be its third summer. Actually, yeah, third. And hopefully this year we'll actually get some fruit to take. But beautiful tree, beautiful foliage. So that's it. Thanks for watching. It's a little documentary for the future of the yard, and we'll see how things grow over time. All right, have a good day.